Welcome back to another episode of Spark to Spotlight, where we uncover the stories of visionary leaders in the startup world. I'm your host, Carol, and we have a very special guest who is transforming the landscape of children's safety and school pickup. I'm very excited to be joined by Carles Porta, the CEO and founder of Qualla. Carles, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you to you. Nice to meet you. Thank you.
Likewise, let's dive right in, Carles. Every company has an origin story. Could you take us back to the moment where this idea of Qualla came into being? We want to know how it started.
Yes, once my wife and me were at the school picking up our nephew, and at that moment we saw that the way making this process wasn't so secure as we would imagine. Okay, so at the moment we saw an ascent, a man coming at the school and saying, "I am the uncle of Mark, and I'm coming to pick up Mark." And the teacher just asked for Mark, your uncle, and they went away. At that moment, we thought it seems to be unsecure. It seems to be a real problem, and we contrasted it with media to ensure that it was a problem. And after seeing that it was a real necessity, we got in touch with the schools, and there we realized that it was a historical problem that nobody had solved. That was the born of our application or system.
Wonderful, very inspiring story indeed. But why the name of koala? I know koala is very cute and cuddly animal. I definitely adore them. When I was in Australia, I had encountered with some of them. So why the name was koala? Did you think about any kind of traits behind this animal that symbolize what you're building?
Well, it was a brainstorming between the different founders, and in the brainstorming appear very really technical names. But in a piece of this brainstorming appeared names of different mammals that are really taking a lot of care of their pups. So at the moment, several names appeared as dolphins, kangaroos, and koala. Qualla was one of them, and at the moment, Qualla was the right name for us. But what happened? Qualla, as it's written and in the correct graphic, it's not possible to be registered. And so we started changing some possible letters, etc., looking for a name that would be registered. And so Qualla is registered nowadays.
I think it's definitely a very smart move because such a catchy name. I mean, it can be easily memorized, right? Especially for kids. For them, koala is something that they can definitely keep in their mind very easily. Wonderful. Okay, so in terms of this children pickup app or management system, do you see any competitors in the market, and how do you differentiate yourself from them when you started?
Okay, first when we introduced our first idea, our MPV in the market, we thought about possible competitors and we looked for the most important platforms that existed in the market from our born back. Okay, there are a lot of platforms that are in different schools along the world, and soon we realized that they weren't our competitors because they are really focused to the school managing and the curricular managing, but not to the communication managing. And we are making a way to be communicating with the family very interesting because it's an objective information, and this objective information avoids a lot of work because avoids to interpret the information or to distribute the information. Automatically, it's distributed to each one of the factors that will need this information as in the way that they will need it, okay? So soon we realize that we have a real different product in the market. Currently, after a pair of years in the market, we are receiving leads from every part of the world, and we have no competitors by the moment.
Well, that's a wonderful news. If you feel like there's no competitor in the market for you, wonderful. I think by reading through the information about Qualla online through your LinkedIn company profile or the website, I realized Qualla Kids is like a two-sided platform. You have one side connecting with the schools, another side connecting with the families, right? But what is your real business model? Are you charging both schools and parents, or are you only charging schools?
No, we are a software as a service platform aimed to a B2B, and our customers are schools or any other kind of centers that are managing kids' activities, okay? Parents are just people who are using our platform, and when we introduce it in a school, these schools converts Qualla in mandatory for the rest of the parents, okay? So our customer is always a B2B aimed to schools in this case.
Wonderful. I think you already showed amazing traction. If I look at your pitch deck, you said that you have clients from 23 different countries already. I guess by Spanish speaking, I mean, Spanish is your native language where Kuala grew out of, right? So Latin America is a natural market for you. Are you currently operating in some of those Latin America countries? What are your markets right now?
Yeah, okay. We are still a very baby company. Okay, we are in a seed stage currently, and we are introduced in Catalonia, in several parts of Spain, as Valencia, Balears, and Madrid, Andalusia, Extremadura, San Sebastián, etc. And now we are introducing Qualla in some Latin countries, as are Colombia. In Colombia, we are in Bogota and Medellin. We are two in Peru, in Lima, and in Santo Domingo, in Dominican Republic. How are we introducing our system there? We are not making anything at all to introduce our product there, but are the different customers which are looking us for via web, via several different navigators, and when they find something as I'm looking for systems to manage the pickup moment at the leaving time at the school. Okay, and looking for this, they find Qualla, and when they find Qualla, they got in touch with us, and we introduce the product in this way. But we are not making anything to increase different countries. But currently, this week, for example, we have received leads from Australia and Tanzania too. Okay, so different parts of the world are introducing Qualla in this way without making any kind of marketing at there.
Did Australia hear your name because of Kuala,
Yeah.
this term? So
Yeah,
the
right.
word spread so far to Australia. Right. So it seems to me you are completely relying on organic marketing at the moment, right? You are not spending any advertisement budget, purely rely on like a word of mouth between schools. Maybe your happy customers spread the word to another school, then they heard about you, they come back to you.
Yeah, sometimes it's possible in this way, but it's quite easier when parents are talking about us. Imagine when we are aimed to a school as a customer, this school will have 1,000 students and 2,000 parents. So parents are real prescriptors of our system. In the last surveys we have made with parents, we have realized that nearby the 100% are absolutely satisfied with Qualla. So they are being prescriptors, and these prescriptors are talking with another prescriptors that are going to several different schools, and this is the way we are introducing really Qualla to different schools.
Right, wonderful. I think currently you mentioned somewhere that you already have like 50 customers, right? Probably already more than some of them are paying customers, some are still trying customers. And how did this Tanzania prospect hear about you, for example? And what are those paying customers mainly coming from?
We are not in Tanzania yet, it's just a lead. okay? And they have been in contact with us looking for a system to ensure that all the kids are going to have the correct meal in the dining room of the schools, in the canteens, at the moment of having lunch, okay? So this is the way that they have introduced our connection with them. Really, I want to tell you something, because when we started, we had just a question. The question was, are you sure for picking up your kids at living time? At that moment, we realized that it was not a solved problem. At that moment, we tried to understand with the schools who were the different factors, the different stakeholders that were taking part in this process. We understood that there were the families, and they were waiting to be responded of several questions. By the moment the parents need to make last-minute changes and need to receive a feedback that everything has worked properly. The other of these factors are the teachers. They must to be agile and they must to be objective. Currently, they are working by heart, remembering the last-minute changes, WhatsApp calls, etc. And we are giving them an objective system that it's not necessary to work by heart. And finally, there are the schools that most of them have their ISO 9001, but they're not resisting these kind of transactions along the school year, okay? Our goal was to unify them all in an only click. What happened? It happened that when we introduced this in the market, the different customers asked us to increase the system, because kids not only leave a school, they can leave the canteens, they can leave the nursery, they can leave the school transport, etc. And they wanted 360 degrees of the security in the moment of the living at the school. Okay, as we need to make the living time and to ensure who are the authorized people to pick up, we need to make the entrance at the school. And the entrance would be by the door, or because the kids jump from an activity to another activity. Okay, so we make these 360 degrees of security, and as we are able to connect all the different factors with an only click, we continue connecting the different factors of the different processes. For example, canteens. Canteens is a process that needs the kitchen, that needs to know what to cook at the last minute. Another thing are the teachers that need to know which are the kids that are going to have lunch and which not, to be able to create them. And finally, there are the invoicing managers that at the end of the month need to know what to invoice to each kid. So we have developed this system in the canteens because of the picking up and the entrance, and we have been connected all the rest of the factors. And this was the interest of a country as Tanzania to be connected with us.
Wonderful story indeed. I saw that the Qualla started like 7 years ago, right? I'm sure at the beginning, you probably didn't have this 360 comprehensive service package yet at the beginning. It was developed rather over time. So could you walk us through the process, like from very beginning, what was your minimum feature at the beginning? Then when did you develop and realize the additional feature that you added on later? For example, what was the process over those 7 years like?
Okay, first I want to tell you that when my wife and me realized about this problem, my son was finishing his degree in telecommunications. Okay, at the moment he needed to make a master and asked me for a possible idea, and I told him Qualla. At the moment, he used this Qualla to make his master, and we won the Universitat Politècnica de Catalunya, UPC, and BREN awards, and we got the first position in this way. And these awards had two possibilities, two awards at the same time. One was a metallic award, and another one was a formation experience in Silicon Valley. At that moment, we built our company, but our company wasn't at that moment selling anything to any possible school. Okay, we were just a company founded because of the award. We spent 5 years in this way because every one of us, my son, his mates too, founded. We are the four co-founders of the company. It was a moment before COVID when my son, that is a generation of the fast fail, told me that he was going to leave Qualla, and at that moment I have to build a new team. Okay, because when we told the schools that were making the pilot that we were going to finish Qualla, they told us that it was impossible, that they were very, very happy with Qualla, and they asked us to look for a possibility to continue to be continued. At that moment, I built a new team. And at that moment, it was on January 22, after COVID, after the most important part of the COVID. On January 22, we built this team. And in September, we were invoicing at that moment. Okay, from September 22 till now is where we have had our real growth.
Right, sounds good. Yeah, every startup has gone through that kind of team building process, right? Hardly any startup would have the same team as with what they started. It's always a process. Wonderful. Okay, cool. Yeah, so tell us some of those biggest challenges that you ever faced in building Qualla. Can you give us some examples of one of the probably hardest moments that you ever experienced, and how did you overcome them?
Okay, really one of the most important things for us is to work under an umbrella of a peace of mind. And we say peace of mind because this is the term that our customers are using to explain what Qualla is. It's a peace of mind method. Under the umbrella of the peace of mind, we understand there are two things very important, and they need to work both at the same time. One, to avoid risk, and another one, avoid work. If you avoid risk, but you are giving work, you are not giving peace of mind, you are giving stress. So it's very important both to avoid risk and to avoid work. And we have our customers from the beginning in the center of our team to understand that all our functionalities are going to cover a real necessity, and that they are going to cover to be found useful, really, okay? And those things are very important for us. So from here, we are always working with our customers to understand what more they need. And now, what we are trying to do, it's in our roadmap, okay? We are going to develop a system that with an only click, parents will be able to say that their sons or daughters are not going to assist at the school. And the system will be able to understand that that kid has checked to assist to the canteen, has checked to assist to the extracurricular, has checked to assist to school transport, etc. And with an only click, the system is going to look where that kid was going to assist, and it's going to uncheck each one of the possibilities without talking the different factors between them, okay? Only with a click. And this is something that we are looking to increase to close all the circle, okay?
How many technical engineers are in your team? Because sounds like if you need to include so many complex function or features into one simple click, it's actually not an easy thing. It might look like just one click, very simple, but I know how much effort should go behind engineering that kind of functionality. So how many engineers are working behind this?
Okay, we are a very small team, really. We are 9 members in the team. We have a CIO. He's a very important CIO with a high knowledge of the infrastructures and architecture in the cloud. And so it's very interesting because it's making us to have a very strong application. And by instance, I want to introduce something here. We have achieved 1,003,000 picking ups in this last year, and with no issue, with no problem. Everything has been really strong. Beside this CIO, there is a full stack that with an agile methodology, and who is able to work in the front end, in the back office, and in the back end at the same time. And it's a very important professional for us. Okay. There is another that is a CTO who is working in the back office and is understanding all the work that all our technicals are made at the same time. And making at the same time, and there is two front-end developer. Okay, this is our engineering team, our developer team. But if we close our current investment round, that is expected to be closed at the end of July, we will introduce more members in our team, and 3 new members are going to be introduced in the technical team. Okay, and so we will have possibilities to increase. I want to tell you something more, that it's we are under the umbrella of Amazon Web Service. We are in their EdTech vertical, and we are having a very interesting support of their ProServe department. And here we are able to be have a stronger system yet. And we are under the umbrella of Akamai 2 with several different perks. And here we are working with them to ensure the security of all the system.
Is Qualla now making even?
No, okay, no. We will be in a break even in 2025.
Right. So now it's relying on venture capital or your own capital to keep the company running, right?
Yes, there are three types of investors. One are we own, we are investors too. Another one are family and friends. We don't use the third F. It's not interesting for us, the third F. Okay, family and friends. And we are working with business angel and family offices.
That's wonderful. I'm sure with your strong traction, especially as you mentioned, you already have 1 million pickups. That shows your strong momentum and strong demand of your product in the market. I'm quite confident that you will have no problem raising your next round of funds. As a startup ecosystem builder, we are in love of success stories, right? The moment when you get some testimonials or success stories, like see what impact you are bringing to your customer, it's always a very special moment. Can you recall any special moment like this? Share with us some of those moments.
Some weeks ago, we were in a meeting, and two things. I want to explain you two moments. One was we were in a meeting explaining Qualla, and one of the members that were listening asked to speak, to talk, and say, "I'm Qualla user." And now I have remembered, just now, that I haven't checked my daughter to have lunch at the school today. And without making anything, I have just made an only click, and I am comfortable that everything has worked. And it has been very interesting for me, because in another moment, I will need to go away and phone and call and don't know if everything has worked properly. And now I know that everything has worked properly. It was a mom, okay? This case was a mom. And another case was when we were explaining about the registration of the system, the automatic registration that allows a school to have these forms of all the moments that the kid has gone away, and which whom, and from which school, etc. And we were explaining this, and we were explaining the importance of this for the Spanish law at this moment, but I think that in several other countries it will be necessary too. One of our users, a teacher at that moment, hung his hand and says, "Okay, this week judgment has asked us to give him the registration of a kid from the last 3 years. And I asked, and how were you working without Qualla to make this? And imagine this, it was really difficult to have this information. We haven't it, okay? And so it's another anecdote that it's very interesting in this way.
Now, these are very touching stories indeed. I mean, it's a huge amount of trust the parents put in the hands of Qualla, right? They give you their most precious thing, which are their children's. They put their children's safety and care into your hands. So imagine such kind of social impact you are giving. That's really very fulfilling.
Yeah. There is a very important social impact because thanks to Qualla, we have improved the family reconciliation. We have improved the transit around the traffic around the school, and so neighbors are more happy and are not going to school to say, oh, I have a car parked in front of my garage and I can take my car, okay, because this has improved. It has improved too because the teachers have more time to be dedicated to teach and not to make different protocols, because everything is working without nobody making anything at all. Another thing is that schools are saving to waste meal because at the last minute they know perfectly what to cook, and so they are not throwing meal to the trash. And there are several different things. In fact, currently we are working to measure this impact, and we have analyzed which are the different stakeholders, the different inputs, outputs, and outcomes, and now we are working to measure this impact.
Wonderful. Speaking of the future, so what do you envision the future of Qualla is like? And what are those milestones you lay out for the next 5 or 10 years for Qualla?
We hope that next year, in 2026, first quarter of 2026, we will have a new investment round. And we think that at the moment, the investment round will be quite huge, not as the current now, the current one, that the current one is just for 580,000 euros. At the moment, it will be quite more bigger. So we are going to spend 68% of the current round to increase the marketing in Spain and to be able to build interesting metrics. And at that moment, the round will go to increase the marketing in the different countries of LATAM and perhaps United States too, where we have had the first contacts, and we are working to introduce Qualla in the United States, okay? Our milestone for that moment is to build a very interesting metrics, to be able to have a high primary value of our company and be able to have an investment round with a higher amount.
Very exciting pipelines ahead, indeed. Okay, now on a more personal note, share with us your secret of balancing your CEO founder life and your work. How do you balance your work and life? Separate a line between them, or you kind of blur the line between them?
I'm balancing inside of the work because all our team is what I have said, team, not workers. We are team. And everyone knows perfectly what to do, how to work, and we are making contrast all the work that everyone is making once a week or 2 weeks, depending on the moment and the part of the team that is making this kind of meeting. For example, the technical team is making a 10 minutes meeting each day and half an hour each week. And this is to make all the common points and to understand how to be continued in some possible issues, etc. I think, as a CEO, that all the members of the team need to have three legs where to be supported. One of the legs is to believe really in the company. It's very important. If not, it's not possible to be in the company. Another thing is to believe in the product. It's very interesting too. For example, imagine that some member of the team will say, "I don't believe with this, and so I'm not going to work in this way." Okay, it's interesting to understand the product and to believe in the product. And the third part of these legs, the third leg, is to believe in one's capacity to develop one's work. And if these three are working, all together, the system is going to work properly. So under this, there is too a very interesting culture of our company. The culture of the company is to believe in innovation, to believe in the kids' security, and to believe in the sustainable development goals. For them both is very important to be understood. So when we have all this, there is a future in our company that it's not very normal in the market, and is that we are working with no timetable. Everyone can make what they want about the time that each one of us is working. We only are working by budgets, by targets, and we are working only in this way, and we only need to achieve our budgets, but not the timetable, okay? So it's something very interesting because each one of the members of the team can work very comfortably with their family too, and mix and match all the necessities in this way, okay? This is how we are making our balance.
Yeah, indeed. I believe have a vision foundation that unites the home team to work towards the single goal, but at the same time also give autonomy and freedom for each team member, to determine in what way they prefer to work. It's very important, right? In that way, you can motivate your member and give them the balance between their work and life as well, and keep them motivated.
Yeah.
Wonderful, wonderful. Okay, so I believe broadly, Qualla can fall under EdTech, educational technology, right? Then what are the things you do to keep yourself stay updated with the latest trends in your industry, to make sure that you always know what's happening in your industry? What are the things you do?
Okay, well, I'm forming me myself. I am studying continuously, but all the members of the team are making the same too, and reading a lot, and trying to be really in touch with our customers. This is, I think, this is something that's really very, very, very important, because so you are going to solve real problems. And this is something that is very necessary for the market, for the society. Innovation is not just about groundbreaking technology. It's about making solutions, developing solutions that are addressing a real world challenges, a real society challenges, okay? And this is the way to be really in touch with what is necessary in each case. Listening to our customers, we are able to learn too a lot, because each one of them has his own necessities, and they are staying by themselves, and they are trying to learn several different technologies that appear in the market, and we are receiving all this information, and we are working to understand this information to give them a solution. There are three common features in all our developments, and we are trying to maintain this always. Agile. Everything is solved with an only click. Easy, because we are working in an absolute user experience. We are fighting to avoid to be learned. And finally, secure, because everything is automatically registered. And so this is the way that we everything we are developing is is developed with these three common features, okay? And working always in touch with our customers. Yes, this is the way.
I can't agree with you more on the point that innovation is not only about groundbreaking scientific discoveries. It's also about applying new ways of doing things into our daily life, right? So that's a constant way of innovating. Wonderful. Thank you so much. Last but not least, I would want to ask you, what advice would you give to other aspiring entrepreneurs who are looking to create impactful and innovative solutions in the education sector?
Be really resilient, very resilient, be really resistant, because it's not easy, never is easy. You have to start and knowing that you are going to have problems always, okay? Be in touch with your team and be in touch with your customers. Be in touch what society needs. It's very interesting this. You know, you don't have to develop something just to be developed. You have to develop to solve society challenges. And I think this is very interesting. And to know that you are going to have problems, it's very important for this to know that your family, the people who is around you, is going to understand what you are doing and it's going to support you at any moment, at every moment, okay? Perhaps you at first you have you have thought that you are going to work in a concrete vertical, but the market is going to show you that you have to pivot to another vertical. You have to listen everything to be able to make these changes. Okay, I think this is what I will say to the possible entrepreneurs.
I guess the only constant is a change itself. That's what we say. So be persistent, be resilient, and stay in close contact with your customer, with your team, right? So that's your great advice for our entrepreneurs out there. That is wonderful. Thank you so much, Carles, for sharing your insights and the incredible journey of Qualla with us. And that is a wrap for this episode of Spark to Spotlight. For everyone out there, stay tuned for more inspiring stories from the innovators shaping our world. Until next time, keep sparking innovation and making a difference. Thank you, everyone.